Hello and welcome to this week's Wild Spirits News. I'm Sibylle, and your mission today is to learn how to handle people that are in a different phase from yourself. I think it'll become clear what I mean by this when I tell you a little story. Many years ago, it was long before I ever discovered coaching. A friend of mine trained to become a coach and was very enthusiastic about it. At the same time, this was just the time in my life, and like I said, this was a long time ago, when I was made permanent in a job for the first time in my entire life. Out of university, I had gone to teach at a university for a couple of years, and after that I did contract work, which I loved, but it meant that there was never any security beyond 6 or 12 or 18 months in the future. So for the first time in my entire life, I had a regular salary to look forward to and felt a little more settled. And there was my friend gushing about coaching and about how powerful and amazing coaching is, and about becoming self-employed and all these juicy things. I was happy for her, but I couldn't really relate because I was just in a completely different place myself. Now we managed this because we were both very good at communication, and we were very good friends. But it still felt weird. And I know that at worst, a situation like this can sometimes feel like your environment is the people around you are actually holding you back. Your first task in this is to realize that life is cyclical. Look at nature. The seasons follow each other. No tree blossoms all year round. And similarly, people go through different phases. I've kind of identified 3 main phases. And so your task is to try and determine where you are at the moment. Phase number 1, I call the adventure phase. This is the kind of phase that my friend was in. You discover something new, or you rediscover a passion. You just fall in love with it all over again. This can also be falling in love with a person, but it's often a passion. You're very high in energy. You have a lot of motivation. You feel a lot of joy. You're willing to take risks. You are fueled by your passion and by your joy, and by doing what lights you up. The second phase I call the maintenance phase. You're not particularly enthusiastic, you're still enjoying the things you do. Sometimes you might not be as motivated, you have a little lower energy. The maintenance phase is characterized by making money, laying the foundations, doing things like that. And the third phase I call distraction. This is when life happens, which it does to all of us. Usually distractions happen through life events. You might have a new baby, and then for the next year or 2, this baby takes over everything. Or somebody, your friend might be in hospital and you are jumping in looking after her children a couple of times a week. And obviously these things are natural and they happen. Or somebody gets ill and you look after them. These are life events that happen, and that's what human beings are for. We are social, we help each other, and this is what life is all about. So it's not a bad thing, as long as it doesn't become permanent and you are always the person to help everyone out and nobody else ever does it. That's a different subject. But this distraction phase happens too. And naturally, because something else is taking over, you will have less or no time for certain passions. So, which phase are you in right now? If you have to write it down, you can pause the video for a bit, brainstorm for a while, or if you already know it, just make a note of it. So once you've identified your own phase that you're in, you can now realize that some people around you might not be in the same phase. And that is completely normal. It's like my friend and I were those years ago. It happens. We are all on different stages in that cycle. And that's fine. And with a lot of understanding and communication, you can navigate that. So it'll help you understand this, and it'll also, as a nice side effect, it'll help you to be more compassionate and more understanding with yourself in phases when your motivation is lower. You might just be in a maintenance phase, or you might be distracted by something. Make sure this doesn't last, and develop the self-discipline that you need to maintain your passions, even if you can't focus on them completely at the moment. Some passions, be it a sport, need to be trained regularly in order to maintain your level. Or if you play an instrument, you need to practice regularly. So sometimes you may have to kick yourself into gear and to develop the consistency to stick with it. But don't expect to always be super excited and joyful about it. It's just not realistic to be that all the time, 24/7, 365 days a year. Now your second task is called sanitize your environment. While people are all in different phases, and that is completely normal, as I've explained, there are some people who actually do hold us back. If somebody is in a different phase and constantly ridicules you for being enthusiastic right now, that can really throw a wrench into things and can really hold you back. We can all say, oh, I'm independent, I don't care what other people think. But people, especially people in our lives that we care about, people we love, do have an influence on our emotions. We'd be machines if they didn't. And over a period of time, this can really wear you down. It can sap your energy, and it can lead to all sorts of things that you don't initially think are related. Issues that turn up, self-sabotage issues and stuff like that. It can be very toxic. So if somebody is there who really has no understanding, then tell them how you feel. Don't be confrontational. Don't tell them they're horrible or anything. Just tell them how you feel. Make it about you. When you say these things, this is how I feel. This is very important to me. Try to make them understand. Now, if they refuse to understand and refuse to change their behavior, it might be time to remove that person from your life. If you can't do that because somebody from your close family or something, then just create certain spaces for yourself on your own where you can pursue your passion, and make sure that whenever that person is around you, you talk about other things. Just change the subject when they start talking about it. Talk about something else, because your passions and what you're doing, the phase in your life, your inner life, is extremely important. It's very valuable, and it is yours to share with whoever you want to share it with, and also to withhold if you don't feel it's beneficial for yourself to share it with a particular person. Protect your space, but be understanding as well. So these are the two balancing forces in this task. So this is your next task, and obviously this goes beyond this video. Maybe now you can make a couple of notes of what you want to do and in what places in your life, but you are ultimately going to have to put this into practice, not while you're watching this video, but in your life over the next days and weeks and months. Your third task is, as usual, to let me know. What do you think about this? What phase are you in right now? Can you recognize some of those issues? Are you happy with your environment? Are they all very supportive, or are there some people who are in a completely different phase? Do you feel now that you can support them a little better? Or that you understand them better? Or what are your thoughts on this, and where do you stand? I'd love to know. Just hit the reply button on the email that you got the video with and write to me, and I will write back within 24 hours. I'll make sure to reply to every email. If you didn't get the link to the video in an email, that means you're not part of the Wild Spirits community, and you should join us. Go to wildspiritscoaching.com and fill in that little form there. It's a 100% spam-free newsletter. You get one email a week, and that's it. That newsletter email, once a week, contains the link to this week's video, and it contains a lot of additional information. It often has recommendations of books and other resources. It has some background information, and sometimes it also contains special offers exclusive only to the subscribers. So go to wildspiritscoaching.com and sign up. Or you can Google Wild Spirits Coaching. That'll get you to my website as well. Thank you for watching.